Broducers, it's Özgün here. So in this tutorial, I'm gonna make a QUINTINO style Dutch house track. It's kinda similar to Big Room. I get this video suggestion idea from our Discord server. You are gonna find the link in the description. And if you're ready, let's get into that tutorial. So I'm thinking to use this kick drum. I find this one from Vengeance. I think it's from Vengeance EDM 2 sample pack. It sounds like that. If you check the waveform, this is what I'm using the kick. The transient is really tight and the sub part of the kick is really looking full. It's covering whole spectrum, the whole length. If you see, like before the sub and the transient, there is some dip on the kick, which means they reduce 300 Hz, something like that. And the kick already sounds so good, I don't even need to process that. So the first tip today, just try to find a real decent sample that you don't need to process and make it fit to your track. Let's disable limiter and let's put the kick a bit smaller so we get some space for our bass. And I'm gonna place it like that. And now I'm gonna bring a tonal kick. Again, it's from Vengeance. This time it's from the first pack of Vengeance. You can just find any tonal kick that you like. The reason I'm using Vengeance because they rendered all different keys. So I don't need to pitch the sample. If I need another key in my bassline, I can just drag drop the sample from the same pack. So it's gonna make my life much more easier. Let's hear how it sounds. It's really saturated, it's really fat. Let's send it to here, call it sub. And let's send the kick to first channel, call it kick. And let's sidechain it with nice and tight. So we get this kick and bass. And after that, I'm just gonna make a low pass with step 8. So I will just clean the sample so I get more space for rest of the elements. Sounds good. Let's lower the volumes a bit. And let's copy the kick for all the drop. And I'm gonna make a small difference in the bass line. I was hearing this a lot while this genre, this jungle house, Dutch house, the old school big room was in the hype. So there was some trick and you could hear it if you listen old big room tracks. And the trick was like that. You just change the kick pattern in the second 4 bars to something like that. So you could hear it a lot in the previous tracks. So for making that, I'm just gonna copy my bass like that. Doesn't get interfere with the kick because we are just putting the kick in another place and the sidechain we have cannot detect it yet. That's why I need to manually sidechain the sample. So now it's gonna be really powerful. And let's automate the kickstart because we already made the sidechain by manually in here. So I'm just gonna turn it off and then I'm just gonna turn it on again. Sounds good so far. And let's copy it for all drop. Now as you see, the G is our main key. So if we go to the piano roll, scale highlight G, let's put it minor. And we are gonna count till 5. So G is the 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the D, the key of D, is the 5th or tonal note. So in the second part of the drop, we are gonna go to the 5th in the bass line. And this is one of the signature moves you see in the Dutch house, in the QUINTINO tracks. For that, I just go to the same pack and bring this D sample. It's the 5th. So let's replace this part. And I'm just gonna bring the key of D bass. Let's make it perfect. Yeah. I'm just copying it to the wrong part. We need to put the D in the second part of the drop, just in the middle. Sorry for that. So it's gonna go back to original in the ending of the drops. Okay, now let's finish the copy paste job by copying pasting the moment that we created. And let's delete the fill parts. And I think we can make the same exact moment in here. That's why I gotta make it manually again. Let's make the side chains. But we didn't send it to mixer. Let's send it to number 2 as our sub. So we probably can have the sidechain in here because the rhythmic change, I'm only gonna use it once as it seems. So then let's fix it also. And yeah, we only need to turn off the sidechain when we have this moment. I'm checking it, double checking everything. And let's don't forget to copy the same kick pattern to second part. Like that. The copying pasting always confusing me, sorry for that. Sounds really nice, but I still think we can improve the last part. So we are making like that, the G note, the G note, the D note, which is the fifth, and we are going back to G and to complete the bass progression. But still we can have a little difference on the kick. I'm just gonna choose the kick on the last 4 bars, and I'm gonna remove its transient. It's kinda become like an 808. And now we can work on the lead. So I'm gonna add a silent and let's go some empty preset here. The sound I'm gonna make is a really simple sound. So I'm gonna use 2 sounds. And the first sound is gonna be simple mono soft sound. For that, first let's send it to some channel. Call it maybe soft mono lead. And maybe we can group it in here. So we can call it lead group. Let's put some sidechain. Maybe we can go quick chain preset. And then the sound I'm gonna create is gonna be 8 voice because I like to make it a bit more fat. But in the end, it's not gonna, detune or anything. And the width should be 0. So I just need some 8 voice top of each other. And they should be solved like that. We are going to create a noise oscillator in the second oscillator. Let's choose the noise, make the voicing 1, and just lower the volume really too much. Just to add some texture to the top end. And then let's activate mono legato and push the porta like more than half. And we get the glide effects now. So for this glide effect, you can always tweak the portamento values according to your melody. And let's make the pitch range to 1 because I have some automation in my head. Let's put the 1 and let's leave it like that. Now we can create the melody. So I'm mostly gonna use glides and I'm gonna think my melody as the Phrygian note. If you go make the scale highlight to G Phrygian. So if you are going to see G sharp is a usable key also. So you can always use the G sharp. So you can make a really cool glides with using that note. So maybe we can shorten them a bit. And we are going to skip the next part and just paste it to the number 5, because we are gonna have another lead like a question answer lead. So we can just leave it like that for now. And let's choose the area like that. Go to silent, move it once, and let's create an automation clip for that. And let's copy the first value, which is 50, paste it here, and move it like that. And let's extend it actually, because we can do something like that. We can go down in the second part. Sounds good so far. I'm just gonna copy the same thing to the second part, but this time I'm gonna make it unique. I don't like to give the same MIDI in the second part of the drop. We can just several changes on the MIDI. Let's go to line and make the step 1-6. Now we get the triplets and just replace them like that. And maybe this time we can change several things in here also. Maybe like that. We go full triplet in the second part. And we can just go back to what we have, like that. I'm gonna make them a bit shorter. Sounds nice. Let's add the second answer lead, and then we are gonna process them together. So for the next sound, I'm gonna use this preset. It's really old preset, sound like that. It's a really different sound. The reason I'm choosing this sound is actually the first sound is mono, but this sound have more stereo information. So let's deactivate its reverb, and maybe we can send it to next channel, and we can call it maybe response lead, and let's send it to here. So we have our lead group, right? We have 2 leads and it's connecting to a group. So I'm gonna copy the first MIDI to here, but this time I'm gonna place it to the second part. But this is the triplets. We need non-triplet MIDI. Yeah, this one should work. And don't forget, we gotta make the pitch range 1. Make this one 1. Move it like that. We can just connect the automations. Link to controller, and let's choose the pitch band. Also, we are going to have the pitch automation just 2 times for the lead that we added. Then maybe we can do like that. The first part can be go up, and when we go down, we can just do it with the new lead we add. And we can just do the automation like that. You can always experiment with it. Now I'm just improvising and trying to find the best possibility for the track. finished the copy paste job for the second part also. Now the whole track is shaping. And I have something on my mind. I think we can do something like that. When the first lead is playing, we can just have the second lead just like a step. So we don't need to add another step. We can just have the first note like that. Actually, let's even have the first glide and paste it like that. I'm really enjoying. I'm gonna do the same movement to the second part also. And now let's process the leads. The first thing I'm gonna do, of course, adding the beautiful blood overdrive. And I'm gonna go to the response lead. I will put some stereo enhancer and just stereo separation it just a little bit so it can be more white and the other one gonna be more mono. So we can create a really nice contrast between them. And I'm gonna add a camel crusher, British clean. Let's add an EQ and cut the low frequencies because we saturate it and we get so much unwanted low end. I'm gonna put an OTT to glue the leads. Actually, just boost them just a little bit more. So I like to do something like that. For example, let's give 5 dB of input gain and let's reduce 5 dB of output gain. So we kind of gain match it. And then we are gonna only hear the act of the OTT. I'm gonna remove a bit downward compression just a little bit. So it's gonna extend like an upward compressor. And then I'm just gonna color it a bit. We can leave it like that. And the next thing, I'm gonna add some delay. Let's choose ping pong and let's reduce the width. So you can determine which time value you like, but I'm gonna leave it probably in here in 3. And let's add some reverb. We already talked how to make the proper reverb in just tweaking several settings. If you didn't watch that tutorial, I suggest you to do that. I'm just gonna give it like 5 seconds of decay, and I'm gonna give a bit high frequencies, maybe till 10K, maybe a bit spread delay. I like how it sounds, but I think we can just put a fruity peak controller to the first, and then we can just link this one to the peak, choose invert. Let's do the same to the reverb. And now we are gonna sidechain the signal with the reverb and delay. I'm just gonna fine tune this 3 knob. And I like to add an isotope trash to the end of the chain after reverb. And I like to choose the clip control preset, but not gonna go 100%. It's gonna kinda clip, saturate, and glue the whole chain. And let's add some claps. Now, this is kind of basic. Okay, now I'm gonna add the claps. Let's change the tempo to 130. You can make the track 128 too. I didn't even check the BPM. But yeah, you can just think this is a regular big room track, but more into jungle elements on it. Like there was a genre, jungle terror, which was at the same time was really popular with Dutch house. So the drums are kind of similar. So we can get the claps to here. So we definitely need several percussions. I'm just gonna use one of the radio sample pack percussion loops, just a basic percussion loop. So let's go and edit in audio editor and choose detect pitch regions, and now we can see which key is that. So it's G sharp. If I put it one semitone down, it's gonna be G and gonna fit my track, and we gotta make the BPM from here. And I'm gonna make it to stretch mode, because sometimes when you put the BPM and if it's in E3 generic, sometimes it's bugging and not fitting to the every grid. So just change it to mono, change it to stretch, and then it's gonna be fixed. I'm gonna clean the fill parts because I will have some big snare in there. And the next sample, it's this Kashmir percussion. Let's put it to BPM also. I'm gonna stretch it. Or we can leave it from resample because there are no key information, like no tonality in that. I don't care if it's resample or stretch. In this kind of situations, you can go resample because it's gonna sound more quality, but it's gonna change the key. As long as you don't need the key from that drum sample, you should choose the resample mode. Sounds good. But the problem is these drums are for regular 4 beats, but we are using triplets in here. So let's get the skizzer tool and let's start cutting them. If you press Shift and Alt, you can just put any position to cut. I'm just gonna cut it like that. And all I'm gonna do is to put them to the lines. Let's put it to here. Now maybe we don't even use those guys. We can just put 2 hits in here. Yeah. Now I'm gonna put a ride. Let's go back to line in here. So the ride is gonna be hit at the same time with the kick. We can go to the pre-computed effects in here and put some stir delay. It's gonna create the Haas effect and push the rides really back off the mix. Let's remove that one. We can have some drop fills in here. Let's put some big snare. It sounds like that. I'm just gonna put it to the spot and cut the ending part. I'm gonna make some fills. I brought several samples from Kashmir Pack. Let's fit them to our track's BPM first. So this is the first sample. I'm gonna use the first part probably. I brought another sample which is sound like that. Also, let's write the correct BPM information and place it like that. And I have some impact, which we need some low end on the fills because we don't have any bass from our kick. So I think we don't need to do it anything as long as we place it properly. And I'm gonna cut the ending and let's volume balance them. It's a really proper fill now, right? Okay, now it's time for some effects. Let's put them to BPM like that, maybe like that. So this is a crowd noise from Kashmir. I'm gonna put it 2 times and I'm gonna bring this downlifter, just the noise. This is the generic usual stuff that we use for our drops, like big room drops. And I'm gonna put it to here, call it sweep down. And let's give both sidechain and EQ. So maybe for crowd noise, I can just limit and make it kind of like bandpass. And for sweep noise, let's just duplicate the whole channel. And this time I'm gonna give more freedom. Since we have more elements in the track, we should just make a volume check for everything. Probably we are clipping as hell now. Not that much, we are on the limits, but I think I can just lower everything in my project just a little bit. So I can just put some clipper. Now I'm hitting like -3, which is a really safe level. So I find this sample from Splice. So I thought this can really fit to our track. If that was F sharp, so in here my key is D. I'm thinking to start it in the second part of my drop and put it like that. So let's make the key F, D sharp, D. If I put it 300 down, it's gonna be D. Sounds good. And in the second part, I'll just make it unique. And this time I'm gonna put it 1 semitone up, which is gonna be G, because I'm just following my bass notes in here. Let's place it like that. And I think we have one stuff left, which is Hoover. We can have it like maybe in whole drop. If this was a second drop, we can have it with the full duration. But if this is a first drop, maybe we can just bring the Hoover in the second part of the drop while we are playing the D note, we can just hold a G note, which can create a really nice tonal sustained feeling and can create really nice tension. Again, I'm gonna go to my silent. Let's go some empty preset and put it somewhere around here. Call it Hoover. Let's just start processing it with cutting the low frequencies, maybe till mids. Let's put a sidechain, and for now we can leave it like that. The thing I'm gonna do is put a G note. I'm gonna go maybe 8 voice. Let's make it detune. Maybe we can go another 6 here, another 8 voice here. And let's make the pitch bend range for 12. And I'm gonna move it once and go back to my project, choose a duration, and last week create automation clip. So we got this beautiful pitch bend automation, right? Let's put it like that. And copy the first value and let's do some curve like that. Just perfect, right? We created a really decent hover. And you can just boost it a bit. And you can give it a really big reverb. And we can hide it to drop. It can cover most frequencies in the background and give a really nice tension to our track. G5. And in the second part, we can go to 1 octave down. And last thing, I think I still thinking about the bass line and I have an idea. I'm just gonna go here, make it smaller, make it unique, and I'm gonna put it 1 octave up so we can create another movement, another cool movement in the bass line. Put it to here so it can have a pre-drop feel. And now we can have a final listen. So always, the first rule to make a Dutch house track like Quintino, you should have a mono-ish soul lead, which can just have some pitch automations with tons of glides. And you can have an answer lead for that. You can create some contrast by choosing a more wide soul lead. And other than that, in the second part of the drop, just try to go to the 5th in the bass, which is gonna create the unique Quintino feeling that you are searching for. And yeah, when you go back to the drop after changing the key, when you are ending the drop, you can have like 808 or even some trap part. You can change so many things. In this case, we just cut the transient of the kick and made some pitch automations for the bass. Just try to go more percussions, more tribal kind of sounds, and you can have some chants. And that's pretty much it, guys. This is how we can achieve Quintino style tracks. Today that was it, guys. Now I'm gonna make a final preview for the track. I hope you can apply this to your own productions too. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video. Bye bye.